Hello everyone. So in this lecture we are going to discuss about the testing on bricks, and basically we'll be discussing about the dimensional test. We are going to discuss about the water absorption test, compressive strength test, and effluence test to judge the quality of the brick. So before we move toward the testing on bricks, first of all discuss about the sampling methods for the requirement of samples to be tested to assess the quality of the bricks. As per IS code, we have three methods of sampling. The first one is sampling in motion. So sampling in motion is when we take samples when the bricks are being moved. That is, bricks are being loaded to be delivered to the construction site, right? So part of the samples are taken when the bricks are being loaded, and part of the samples are being taken when the bricks are being unloaded at the construction site, right? So when we take samples when the bricks are being moved, then it is called as sampling in motion. Second is sampling from stack. So sampling in from stack is when we take the samples from the stack of the bricks. So what we have is we have stack of bricks. We divide the stack into number of imaginary sections, and then from each section some of the samples are taken for the testing purposes. So if we do this, this is called as sampling from stack. Then we have sampling from lorries, and in this what we do is we take samples directly from the lorries, right? Lorries are used to transport the bricks from the source to the construction site, right? So when we take samples from the lorries itself, then it is called as sampling from lorries. Okay. So after we have decided the sampling method that need to be adopted, then the next question is how much quantity of bricks need to be taken. Now again IS code specifies the quantity of bricks that need to be taken for the testing purposes. So if you are going for the analysis of dimensional characteristics, right, then depending upon the size of the lot, we will take the quantity of bricks again depending upon the type of dimensional study we want to do, right? So first of all, we let us understand what is a lot. So lot is a collection of bricks in which maximum we can have 50,000 bricks, right? So in a lot we can have a maximum of 50,000 bricks, right? And in a lot, if we have a lot size of 2001 to 10,000 and we want to assess the individual dimension of the brick, right? In that case we will take 20 number of bricks, right? So let's say this is a lot that contains bricks of size 2001 to 10,000, right? So in that case we will take 20 number of samples of the bricks. Now these 20 bricks that we will take at random from the lot, a maximum of one brick is allowed to be defective, right? If we have more than one, then what we have to do is we have to change the lot. Okay. If we want to assess the dimensional characteristics in group of 20 bricks, right? So in that case we are going to take 40 brick samples. Okay. So if we have a lot of size 2001 to 10,000, and if we want to individually analyze the dimensional properties, then we will take 20 bricks with the permission of maximum one defective brick from the sample. If we want to analyze the dimension of 20 bricks at once, then we have to take 40 samples, right? If the size of the lot is in between 10,001 to 35,000, then we will take 32 bricks with the permission of two defective samples. If we are going to analyze the dimension characteristics in a group of 20 bricks, then in such case in this lot we have to take 60 samples. Likewise, if the size of the lot is in between 35,001 to 50,000, then we have to take 50 bricks if you want to analyze the dimensions of bricks individually with the permission of three defective bricks. If we want to analyze in group of 20 bricks, then we have to take 80 bricks, right? If our lot size is less than 2000, then we have to there shall be an agreement between the supplier and the purchaser to take the sample size, right? Likewise, if we are going for the property analysis other than dimensional properties, then the number of samples that need to be taken is 5 for the lot of 2001 to 10,000 with no defective piece. Okay, and in a lot size of 2001 to 10,000, if you are going for the study of warpage, then sample size should be of 10 with a permissibility of 0 defective pieces, right? So this table was specifically for the dimension properties, right? And this table is for the testing other than dimensional properties. That is, if you have again, if you have a lot of 10,001 to 35,000, we will take 10 samples. Again, no defective piece should be there in from that 10 randomly procured samples. If we have defective sample, then we have to change the lot, right? If you are going for the office, it should be sample size should be 20 with one permissible defective piece. Again, if the size of the lot is 35,001 to 50,000, then we will take 15 samples, and then in this one is permitted to be defective. For wattage, if the lot is of size 35,001 to 50,000, the sample size is 30 with a permissible defective piece of 2, right? So we will take these 15 sample, 5 sample, 10 sample, 15 sample, and then these samples will be used for the respective testing purposes. Okay. So let us, so this was about the selection of the samples. Now these samples will be made to go through variety of testing, right? So first of all, let us discuss about the dimensional test on the bricks, right? So if we are going for the study of the dimensions in a group, right? So we have to arrange 20 whole bricks, right? So we have a brick, right? So let's say this is a brick. Okay, this is a brick. So this will be the length of the brick, right? And let's say this is the width of the brick, right? And let's say this is the height of the brick. So if we want to assess the length of the brick, then the bricks will be arranged along the length, right? So this is your L1, this is your L2, and likewise L19, L20. So 20 bricks will be arranged along the length, and the cumulative length will be measured. Likewise, if we want to assess the width of the brick, then the bricks will be arranged along the width. This is B1, B2. Likewise, we'll have B19, B20. Right. Likewise, we will arrange the bricks along the width. For the height, we will arrange along the height of the brick, right? This will be H19 and this is H20, and then the height of the bricks will be, cumulative height of the brick will be measured, right? So this is how we are going to measure the dimensions of the brick. Okay, now we have already discussed about the dimensions of modular brick and non-modular brick, right? So uh, the dimension of a modular brick is 190 into 90 into 90 mm, or 190 into 90 into 40 mm. For non-modular brick, we have this as our dimensions, right? So the permissible dimensions, when we do the dimensional test, the permissible dimension for the modular size brick is plus minus 80 mm, right? So we have arranged 20 bricks. So 190 into 20 equal to 3800 with a permission of plus minus 80 mm. Likewise, for width, we have a permission of error of plus minus 40 mm, and for height again plus minus 40 mm. Right. For non-modular, again a plus minus of 80 mm is permitted in length, plus minus 40 mm in width and height respectively. Right. So this is the permissible error that can be there in the length, width and height of the brick, right? After measurement, this should be the range in which the length, width and height of the brick should lie. Then we have water absorption test for the brick. Now, in water absorption test, what we do is, first of all, we oven dry the brick samples. Then we take the initial weight of the brick sample, right? Once the initial weight is taken, the bricks are submerged in water for 24 hours, and after that, the bricks are again weighed, and then the amount of water absorbed is measured, right? So your water, after being submerged in water, the weight is W2. W2 minus W1 divided by W1 into 100 will give the percentage water absorption for the brick, right? So this 24-hour water immersion test, this test is called as 24-hour water immersion test. So it takes one full day for the completion. We also have a 5-hour boiling water test. Now in this test, what we do is, procedure remains the same. We first of all oven dry the brick samples at a temperature of 105 to 115 degrees Celsius, right? After this, we measure the weight of the oven dried brick, that will be W1. Then what we do is, after this, the specimen is immersed in the boiling water for 5 hours, followed by cooling of 16 to 19 hours, right? And then we again measure the percentage of water absorbed in this case, right? So once the brick samples are submerged in the boiling water for 5 hours, after they are taken out, kept in the natural environment condition for 16 to 19 hours, we again weigh them. Let's say that weight is W3, so percentage of water absorbed will be W3 minus W1 divided by W1 into 100. Okay, and the average water absorption should not be greater than 20% by weight. For class 12.5, we have discussed about the class in the previous lectures, and should not be greater than 50% for the first class brick for the 5-hour boiling water test. Next, we have compressive strength test for the bricks, and the compressive strength assess the load taking property of the brick. Uh, at time, 5 samples should be taken from our sampling size, and in this what happens is, first of all, samples are preconditioned for the test. So for this, what we do is that the bricks are, first of all, the frog side of the brick or the top side of the brick are first of all coated with the mortar containing 1 part cement, 1 part sand, right, and water, right? So it is coated, the top layer is coated with the mortar, right? The purpose of coating the top surface with mortar is to remove the unevenness or any irregularity or bad phase from the surface, so that uniform contact can be achieved during the loading in the compressive strength testing machine, right? So once we coat this with the mortar, right, these are immersed in the water for a period of 24 hours, right, and then are taken out, and the excess water is removed, right? They can again be kept under the damped jute bags to maintain the water quantity for 24 hours, right? So basically what we do is, we take the brick samples, right? We take the brick samples, we coat the top layer with the mortar paste, right? We have a uniform surface obtained. After this, these samples are put into the compressive strength testing machine, right? We put it into compressive strength testing machine, and here the load is applied at the rate of 14 Newton per mm square, right, per minute till the failure occurs. Okay, and the load is applied till the failure happens. Okay, the compressive strength of the brick will be maximum load at the failure divided by average area of the bed face, which is measured before the testing is done. After this, we have an efflorescence test on the brick, and efflorescence is a defect that is caused because of alkalis present on the bricks, right? So basically what happens is, when brick comes in contact with the moisture, water is absorbed and the alkalis that are present in the brick crystallizes, right? And on drying, these white patches are obtained on the surface. And to minimize this efflorescence, what we have to do is, we have to properly select the clay that is used for the construction of the bricks. So basically in this test what happens is that we take the brick samples. We the brick sample should be dry. We take the water sample, 25 water sample is filled in the tray. We put these brick into these brick samples, right? And it is the water is allowed to completely either being absorbed by the brick or being evaporated, right? So 25 water sample is kept in the tray. Bricks are placed in this vertical way, and the water is either allowed to be completely absorbed or be evaporated, right? Then what happens is again 25 depth of water is filled in the tray and is again allowed to completely evaporate or be absorbed by the brick samples, right? And once this is achieved, we see the presence of white or gray patches on the surface of the bricks. If we have no deposition, then it means there is no presence of efflorescence. If we have slight deposition, that is the white patches is available about 10% of the exposed area of the brick, then it is in the slight category. If the white patches are observed in 10 to 50% of the exposed area of the brick, then we have moderate exposure of the uh, efflorescence. If this is more than 50%, right, and upon touching we do not get the these white patches in our finger, right, then it is called as the heavy efflorescence, right? And if the white patches are available at the more than 50% of the exposed surface of the brick, and upon touching the brick surface we get the flakes in our hand also, then this is called a serious category of efflorescence, right? So this is like a visual assessment of the efflorescence on the bricks. And conventionally the efflorescence should not be more than the moderate category for a class of 12.5 and should not be more than the slight category for the class A bricks, right? So this is the way in which we categorize the efflorescence of the brick, right? So this was about the test that are conducted on the bricks to assess their properties. If you think the video was up to your expectation, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel for more lecture like this, and press the bell icons to get the regular notification. Okay, thank you.